Sunderland fans, my name's James Copley. Welcome to the channel. We're going to be having a little bit of a reaction video to Sunderland's 2-1 loss against Ipswich Town at Portman Road in the Championship this evening. Obviously, I work for the Sunderland Echo. Two lads down there at the moment, Joe Nicholson and Phil Smith. If you head over to the Sunderland Echo website, you can see all of their content, which includes all of your player ratings, all of your Michael Beale reaction articles, all of that good stuff. But I thought I would just hop on and we will have a little bit of a chat about the match, get some of my thoughts off my chest. It was a difficult evening for Sunderland. Michael Beale opted to start Abdul Laah on the right-hand side of Sunderland's attack. Nazari Rusin was dropped to the bench, which meant Joe Bellingham went up front. Alex Pritchard was in the number 10 position. I thought Sunderland sort of struggled to impose themselves on the game. That question of Rusin and the striker and him being dropped, I find it difficult to understand where this continuity and patterns of play is going to develop, how it's going to develop when you've dropped your striker. Obviously, he scored against Preston, didn't have the best game against Newcastle United, but that was a tough assignment up against a Premier League team. Abdul Laah, to his credit, he came in and he assisted Jack Clarke for Sunderland's opening goal, which was a fantastic strike. Credit to Jack Clarke, credit to Abdul Laah. A brilliant moment of quality. Sunderland did have a few little moments in the first half. I felt like Ipswich Town just sort of held Sunderland at arm's length for the most part. And then, you know, in the first half, late on, Jackson gets the equaliser. Slightly fortuitous. There could have been a handball call from their number 6, the defender. Marginal. I don't think there were too many Sunderland players appealing for it. That, you know, nobody's really playing blue murder on Twitter about it. And the lad actually takes a shot and it's sort of deflected into Jackson's path, but Jackson just reacts faster than Sunderland's defence. He slots it in. It's 1-1 going into the break, and I just always felt from there that Ipswich Town had the quality in terms of their forward line. There's a lot more depth there. There's a lot more experienced. You know, Kieran McKenna, their head coach, he's been there, you know, quite a while now, so that there's continuity. They all look like they know the jobs. It was a pressure game for them, given what had happened with Southampton winning and overtaking them. They needed to win. They did that. And I just feel like that club, in terms of the way it's progressing, the parameters, in terms of transfer structure and their strategy, they've nailed it really to come up from League One and progress as quickly as they can, and have is really impressive. I think Sunderland, for me at the moment, they've adjusted the parameters a little bit too far. That we lack a proper striker. I don't think I'm revealing any state secrets to say that Sunderland are lacking a proper striker. Joe Bellingham is a player that I absolutely love. I think he's set for a big future in the game. It's worth noting when we talk about Joe Bellingham that he is actually only 18 years old, and that he's played in 2 or 3 different positions for Sunderland. He's also played most of Sunderland's games. I think he's missed 1 or 2 from memory. I would have to go in and check. So he's played a lot of football. He's played more football than he played last season, that's for sure already. And we're only in January. But he's not a number 9. He's not a number 9 yet. He's not an experienced number 9 yet because of his age. And you just see when Sunderland need respite, when they've got the ball in the full-back channels and Ipswich Town were pressing, that there was no outball because Job wasn't running the channels. And in fairness to him, it's not his job. It's not what he's been coached to do. He's more of an attacking midfielder. So despite him actually being quite tall, the ball wasn't sticking up front. Sometimes Sunderland need an outlet, I feel. So yeah, I think my main takeaways from the game, which you can read on Twitter, is that the squad's shortcomings, I think, need addressing. We're lacking depth and experience. I do think it was a step forward for Abdul Laah. I will say that he did get the assist for Jack Clarke's goal. You know, he picked up a silly yellow card, and perhaps if he hadn't picked up that silly yellow card in the second half, he wouldn't have been substituted for Adil Laah, who gave away the free kick for their second goal and missed a really, really good opportunity. I've wanted to see more of Laah now for a little while. I think he's promising. Sunderland clearly think that he's a promising player and has a big future. They gave him a 5-year contract, but it's not been his best afternoon, giving away that free kick. and missing a really, really good chance before that as well. And Sunderland's defending just in general for that second goal, Conor Chaplain, I think he's probably the smallest player on the pitch. I think he's, off the top of my head, like 5'8", 5'9", tricky central attacking midfielder with number 10 on his back, and he's got a free header to hand Ipswich Town the win. So yeah, a step forward for Barr, a step backwards for Aushoosh, unfortunately. I mean, Jack Clark is brilliant. He's indispensable. That goal he scored was a fantastic strike. The keeper could have probably done a little bit better for it. But I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot of things you could pin today's defeat on, and Jack Clark isn't one of them. My big question is, with Sunderland at the moment, who produces when Jack Clark can't? I feel like we are relying on a little bit of Jack Clark magic at the moment to get us out of whatever mess that we get ourselves in games. I thought the Hull City performance on Boxing Day was for large parts a good one, but I didn't see us scoring until Jack Clark produced a moment of madness. Madness or magic, sorry. Madness from a Hull's point of view, but magic from our point of view. I think that's what we are relying on at the moment. Can Jack Clark come up with something, or can Alex Pritchard come up with something? And they can't every time. And the second goal really is a poor one to concede from just a squad collective point of view. It shouldn't be going in. It's a free header for Conor Chaplain, as I mentioned, and I just think that the shortcomings in this squad, as I say, do need addressing. And now, I am not trying to pin that all on the recruitment team or have a go solely at the recruitment team. I think failure is always collective. I believe in collective responsibility, and Michael Beale, perhaps for me, got his team selection wrong tonight. The substitutes didn't make a great deal of sense to me, given how late they came in the game. But then it's the chicken and the egg situation. 3 successive managers now have said that there isn't a great deal on the bench to come on and affect and change games. Ipswich Town had that. Kieran McKenna, he made subs, he made them early, he made numerous, and he changed the game. Whether that's something Michael Beale has in his locker as a head coach, I don't know. Or is it something he can even do with the squad at present? I'm not sure. So it's a real tough one for Sunderland to bear at the moment. Obviously, when you want to finish in the playoffs, you need to be beating teams like Ipswich Town who've had a good season. But if Sunderland want to achieve something this season, they have to beat the teams around them, which they have done for the most part this season. Thinking back to West Brom and games like that, and even Hull on Boxing Day. Obviously, lost against Coventry and a draw at Coventry at their place. But it's a tough league, the Championship, and I feel like it's taken its toll on Sunderland's young and inexperienced squad. I think they're a little bit light on numbers. The players that they brought in this summer aren't ready really to kick on and help this squad. There's injury issues as well with Roberts and Sergen. It feels like a really tough spot. Doesn't feel like Michael Beale's got off to the best start. Obviously, that's perhaps coloured by the loss to Newcastle United as well, which was probably inevitable, but still plays a part in our minds. It just feels like the club perhaps is going backwards a little bit at the moment. I know the form wasn't great under Tony Mowbray. I think it was 8 points from 9, but just for me, tactically, it feels like we've regressed a little bit. I'm not seeing the patterns of play that I was, and I'm not so excited by the way Sunderland are setting up at the moment. And I'm just a bit flummoxed, really, as we've sort of regressed so much. But it's January, and I think that Sunderland do need to address a couple of key areas. Obviously, the glaring one is up front. They must address that position with quality goals and experience. Now, that is easier said than done, to be honest, because there isn't a lot of options out there. But Sunderland have been linked with players, so there has to be something done there. I don't know what the solution is. Kiefer Moore's been mentioned, of course. The other glaringly obvious position as well is centre midfield, whether that's a 6 or an 8. Obviously, Jay Matete was back on the bench today, but he didn't get on. Sunderland need to address that. Corey Evans, could he be on his way back? It's going to take him a little while to get back up to speed. It's a big position. Neil and Echo look knackered. They struggled to affect the game today. Pritchard was playing in the 10, so he wasn't dropping deep to sort of make it a midfield 3. It was pretty much a midfield 2, which is where some of the problems came and where some of the problems have been coming pretty much all season, to be honest. I love Dan Neil and Ekwar, but I think that position, it needs addressing for me. And it was interesting, actually, to hear Nathan Jones and Joby McAnuff on the Sky Sports commentary and punditry they were saying about a centre-back as well. Nathan Jones was very quick to praise Luke O'Nien, and I'm in that camp as well. I quite like Luke O'Nien as a person, as a player, but I think at centre-back sometimes to get the top six, to get up the table, to get into the Premier League, I do think Sunderland might need an upgrade. I'm not saying bin Luke O'Nien off completely. I think he's a brilliant player to have at the club, a utility man who can play right back, left back, deputise, as a centre back as well, centre midfield. I think there's game time for Luke O'Nien in a Sunderland shirt. But do we need another big monster centre back in the Dan Ballard ilk or the Danny Barth ilk? Somebody that can contribute and knows how to win leagues. So I think there's a little bit of an issue with the spine of the team at the moment. I think it's fatigue. I think tactics there's a little bit left to be desired at the moment, and it just feels like the mood around the club is changing a little bit. But yeah, that was my sort of 10-minute rant on on what's occurred at Portman Road. Let me know what you thought about the game in the comments section, and please, whether you agree or disagree, please remain respectful, because it's always nice to have a bit of banter and a laugh. And I genuinely enjoy the debate, so please come armed with your stats and your statistics and tell me why I'm wrong or tell me why I'm right. That's always fine by me. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. You can subscribe to the channel if you wish, and obviously my day job is a journalist for the Sunderland Echo, so if you ever want any Sunderland content, please head over there. You can find content from myself, Phil Smith, John Nicholson, and we cover Sunderland's sort of daily footprint through the week and the weekend. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching.